What's going on, guys? We got a little problem here. Is I don't have anything to ride. You can see here, this guy here is missing his wheels, which ain't a big deal, but it needs a little bit of work. And it's smoking, and there's a few other things on it needs. And this thing here I cut in two to make a UTV thing out of it, so I don't have that to ride. And of course we're working on this. But I don't really ride a whole lot, but I do like to have some sort of like transportation just to get from like up there or over there. I like to make a trip down to the creek once in a while, but I had to walk all the way up there, which that hill's kind of steep, like 6 times in one weekend, and it just kind of sucks, So I'm gonna get one of these going. This bike here needs a new chain, and I think I mentioned this like several videos back. I just haven't touched it, and I stole the foot pegs and the what do you want to call it, Nerf bars off of it, and put them on this guy. But one thing about this engine is it's never wanted to idle very good. Like once it's warmed up, fully up to temperature, it'll idle. But it seems to have a timing issue. Like it's a little behind, retarded. And I have 2 of these engines. I'll go back over here. Here's the other one just like it. Kind of get a view of it a little bit. I think that the little tab, it's on the flywheel, it goes around, and the ignition system picks up on, is not in the right spot, or at least relative to the key slot in the center of it. I think that it's always not, it's not right, and because this engine here idled just fine. There's no problem with it idling. So what I think I'm going to do is steal the flywheel out of here and stick it in the other one. This engine here is just fine, but I want to save it for later, like someday I like redo the bike or something, and I'll put this guy in there. The other engine just like this, the reverse actually got ripped out of it, and I split the case, made a new shaft and everything for the reverse gear. And I didn't think it would actually last as long as it has. It's actually been pretty reliable. I made the shaft out of like soft steel, and it would have been hardened. And so far it hasn't ripped it back out again. But I think I'm just going to keep running that bike until something major goes wrong with the engine, and then later on I'll tear it down and redo it, stick this engine on. But I think it's going to borrow that flywheel, and then back over here, and then I got some chain. I don't know if you guys got a Roll King in your area, but man, it's like some of the things they have in there is like extremely, I ain't gonna open it. It's the Roll of 50 chain, 10-foot roll, $15 and some change. Can't beat it. And I buy 50 chain because it's compatible, and 50 chain's pretty much the same, or may be the same as 530 chain. Now these 300EXs actually use 520 chain, which 520 chain is a little narrower, and as far as I can tell, the 50 chain runs on 520 sprockets just fine. And also with this particular thing here, it's a 300EX, so it has a 520 front, and it has a 530 rear, so you can't put 520 on there, so I just buy a 50 chain. This thing here, it's the other way around. The front sprocket on this is 530, and since it's a 300EX bike, the back sprocket is 520. Well, same thing. 50 chain works on both sprockets. And then probably this thing here, seeing that I am using a 300EX engine, and I also bought a sprocket, which I can't see it anywhere around here. I bought a big sprocket, like the biggest one I could stick on this thing. I'll probably show it in another video, but it was only one that I could find. It was like 42 teeth, believe it or not. They try to lower the gearing of this, but I'll probably actually get 520 chain to put on here because it'll fit properly. The sprocket I bought is aluminum, so I definitely want to put something that's properly fit. Would you quit bugging me? I'm making a video. And then back to this thing. Pretty much with the timing situation it was, it's so hard to get started, and it doesn't want to idle, and you constantly have to start it back up. And so it eats batteries. Like once a year I have to buy a battery for it, which most of the time I get 2 years out of an ATV battery. And then I think I might just for now borrow the seat off the other guy, and then try to get this thing here up and running. So that's about all I got for today with this. Just kind of planning what I want to do. So I'm not really into this thing. Here is going to need, gaskets and new rings, and it's not a whole lot of money that it really needs. It's just I'll just get that later because it, the cost point of it. And it's kind of hard to maintain all this stuff. It's just maintain it, and then I also get the ideas of doing something dramatic with it. But all right, well, I guess I'll catch you guys later.